Right, welcome back, tubers. I thought I would try yet a different way of doing this. Today I'm using Streamlabs OBS to give me a little bit more interaction, I hope. It's working, which is a good start. Well, it's buffering. Stream health is terrible. I can't believe I'm buffering already. No! Hashtag Australian Internet. Aussie NBN. No, it's not working, is it? It's not fucking working. I'm gonna have to go and reboot everything again. It's fine to me. Finally got into the feed. It's not working here. It's saying it's the stream health is shit house. Upload speed is awesome, so I don't know what is going on. I am very sorry, tubers. I'm just gonna close that. I'm gonna start trying to make this a regular thing on a Monday morning. I'm gonna try and be here every Monday and see if we can actually start making it on time, I guess you'd say. So I'm going to try and start doing a live feed every morning, say at about 7 a.m. Monday morning, Australian time, which is some other time in some other countries. I don't know what that is, but we'll get used to that eventually. Why am I still playing on that screen? Rightio. Close that down. Get rid of that. We get the chat over here. This is supposed to have, when a subscriber pops up, it's supposed to do stuff on the screen and all this sort of good stuff, but I don't think it's working, if I should be honest. Aussie NBN. Rightio, what have we got? Let's find them in the UK. Finally got a live feed. Welcome, J Rock, working for me. What's not working? The bloody internet. Seems smooth. Howdy, boys. Your video is kind of crappy, but we hear you clear just fine. The video is what I'm concerned about. Saturday night, you mean? No, it's not Saturday night. It's Monday morning. It's supposed to be work, but some queen had a birthday or something, so it's a public holiday. Good morning. 5 a.m. Saturday Eastern Standard States US. Saturday morning. I'm gonna kick my kids off the net. Honestly don't think it's my kids on the internet, because I got like 17 megabits per second up or something, which should be more than enough, even with them using it. Sunday 9 p.m. Sasquatchian time. I can never say that correctly. So we have got a bunch of new subscribers in the last couple of days. If you are here in the room, leave a comment and let me know where you're from and what you're up to. Have you got any projects and all that sort of good stuff? As you can see behind me, my batteries are well balanced. They are doing things for something else, so, you know. And I haven't done much other stuff yet. Sack at Chuen. Is it close enough? Result of the vote. I haven't even... Oh, vote. I forgot about that. I really probably should put some more effort into that. How do I get to that? Create a studio, back to studio, better dashboard. I think I started doing like a walk around video, and I think the voting changed. Where have we got? Community. I don't even know. Do I have this? Left screen. No, that doesn't work. Where'd it go? No! I clicked the wrong button. Community channels. Community. Oh, there we go. 39% test every cell. 14% general walk around and talk. If anybody wants to know, I'm trying to interact a little bit more. I'm trying to be a little bit more everywhere. So I did a poll up on here on what the next video would be. To be fair, I started, it was like 40% or something was just a walk around video. So I've actually started that video, so I might just sort of slip that in there first. But test every cell that's been in service for more than 2 years. We got 39%. So I am going to give that a good hard crack. That's going to be a really long series of videos, I think. The first one will be, the first video, I need a way of testing each cell. So I'll get the iCharger X6. And if you're a regular viewer, you'll know I'm already doing this. I'll get the iCharger X6, which is regen mode, to test every cell. So I am going to test the one, there's 2 cells there that haven't been tested, so I'll test those first. And then I'll reconfigure that from a 14S to a 7S, because the iCharger does 7 to 32 volts, I think. So 48-ish volts will be perfect to do the regen. I'll be able to use that entire pack. If it ever gets low or whatever, I can still charge it with the PCM60X up there. And I'm going to change, so that'll be the sort of the first video. The second video will be changing the BMS, so I have to go from a 14S BMS to a 7S BMS. So I'll do that, get that all sorted, and then start testing. Of course, I'm going to have to pull out cells. I know one cell 35 down there is still a little bit lower. It's got some sort of problem. I have had the thermal camera on about a dozen times. So I can't see any heat while it's in the pack. But I'm finding the heat comes up. Oh no. I'm in all sorts of trouble. What's up, wifey? Oh, can I have a coffee? Anybody else want a coffee? You get Zarafa's coffee? Ooh.
Not getting the cheap shit. $1 coffees from Servos, stuff that.
Have it? You get the Macca's coffee, and I'll get the Zarafa's coffee.
Yeah, you can keep your Macca's coffee too. That's shit.
You're off camera.
That's okay.
I always get heaps more views when you pop your head into camera.
They don't need me on camera.
Why not?
Because they just don't.
But
they don't care.
Who cares that she? Okay, vote now. Who wants Kylie on camera and who wants her off camera? The problem is there's this lag.
Yeah, so by the time I get back from getting fuel.
No, it's going to, yeah, I'll have one. Never enough coffee. I'm not actually a coffee person. Baron, hi Kylie. One, never need to catch a plane tomorrow morning. No coffee for me. I need to go to bed. Go to bed. Was it Jerome? Hi, Jerome.
Alright, I'm going.
Caramel coffee, of course. Oh, camera off coffee.
Off.
On camera off course.
Huh?
On camera off course. Yeah, they want you on, yes.
No.
We'd love a cuppa.
Oh, I'm going. Bye.
You got you have to kiss me.
So did you want a coffee?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Where's my kiss?
No.
Oh.
No.
What the f is going on?
No.
Can I get a hug?
They got away. That's it.
Well, I don't give a shit about them. I just got dissed. I just got dumped. Ah, Jesus. Where were we? The video. So it's just going to be a whole big series of testing 56 cells, 56, 57, 58. Cortana. Shut up, Cortana. Rightio, Cortana's gone. Yeah, so just going to test all my batteries and do a big series on what you can do better and all that sort of stuff. Rightio. Where are we up to? Revotes the vault. I got that, done that. Close. Peter, I'm from Unis, Arizona. Thank you very much for joining us, matey. Hello from Italy. Mike, welcome. I voted water diverter, but at last seen resetting 2 years old cells. Huge lad. Thank you very much, Dan, for voting. I Pete, off-grid prepper. Greetings from near Mount Gambier, South Australia. That is a fucking cracking part of the world. I love your channel. We're watching the stream. Might get back to work. Welcome, sir. Jason. Hello from Canada. Do you have aircon in there? Must be hot with all the cells pumping out a ton of juice. Barra, the world. No, I do not have any air conditioner in here. I really wish I did, but I think I would hit the limits of what power I can get up here if I added an air conditioner. And even when I was running, what, 2 or 3,000 watts of miners, the power, the distribution, whatever you call it, down in my meter box got really hot. I think I could run 6,000 watts up here, but I had to run a fan on the breakers and stuff, and that's probably not smart, but it's what you do to make money, right? I certainly would. I have started thinking in the last 48 hours I was going to change my shed around because my 7-year-old son has decided he wants to become a YouTuber. So he's got a Gen 2 i3 processor on his desktop PC. I put a second screen on it yesterday, a camera, OBS, and all that sort of good gear, and tried recording, and it just he wants to do Minecraft videos. So what the hell? Why not? So yeah, it just didn't really work as well as we first thought. How do I get that up there? This is the video still terrible? There we go. I'm not sure what you can actually see. Face. 2 a.m. Never thought of coffee. Yeah, I'll have one. Hi, Kylie, Barra in the world. Kylie's gone. Need to catch a plane. Kenny, would love a cup of her. I'll put your bloody glasses on. The glasses are only there to hold the head in place and to stop you from seeing the bald patch that's sort of starting to creep up. Aussie prepper. Where have we got? Pete, put your glasses on. Buy Wi-Fi. Pete got the shaft. I wish Pete I gave the shaft. Anyway, that's another conversation and not for YouTube. Pete said fuck on YouTube. No, you don't get demonetized for saying fuck on YouTube. But you do get dumped down in the ratings. But that, considering, it's pretty shit ass anyway, I don't care anymore. I swear more than anyone else I know. I've said this a few times on camera. I freaking swear a lot, and I've got YouTube is like when my mum's here. I just try not to. No kiss today. My wife has gone away. Myself. Off Cortana, I reckon. That's the worst thing you ever do. You got, just off camera, you can't see, right? But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 computers sitting there. And as soon as Cortana comes along, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Of course, that's not those 2 computers as well. But that's kind of my... It's the Queen's birthday today, and I'm supposed to not be working, but I am working. So that is my job today. I've got to reload and test all the hard drives and memory and stress test them and whatever else. Really hard stuff, really boring, but it works. Hey Pete, what temp do you consider a heater cell? Also when testing individual cells, what voltage drop over what period would you consider a self-discharge? Luke, so when I'm testing cells, it's a matter of putting my hand on it. It's no more technical than that. When you've tested as many cells as I have, you've got to cut some corners. It's not getting the thermal camera out each time or the laser pointer and fucking around with that. It's simply whack your hand on it. If one cell is noticeably hot than the other 3 in that discharger, it's gone. It's simple. And then voltage drop in a month, I wouldn't like to see anything more than 0.2 volt. 0.1 volt over a month, because that's not a sizable sort of a drop, and you've got to make sure you let them rest. You don't just take them out of the charger and then check the voltage. You've got to let them rest for a couple of days, then check the voltage, and then test it all later, or do what I did with the last lot of batteries, and I charged every single cell up with the same charger. So it went to I think by the time it rested, it went to 4.16 or 4.17 volts. So every single cell was charged with just one, and that's, I think, 2,400 cells. So charged with just one charger. And then I will test them all after a month has passed, even though it took me a month and a half or 2 months to test them. And then they're all sitting down there. They've been there for 2 weeks now. They've got another couple of weeks before I pull them out. I'm still waiting on Tom Amarin to get back to me about some nickel strip for that project. That'll proceed on as I get the stuff, I guess. San Francisco Bay Area installing 2 1,000 watt sun grid tie inverters. They sound horribly cheap. So far, 800 watts in panels, then we'll tie in the batteries. Sun, 2 1,000 sun grid tie inverters. They really sound like the budget versions, so probably putting 800 watts between both of them. Don't care about why. Don't care about us. Why do live? What do you mean don't care about us? I do care about you. I just care about the wife more. Greets from the Netherlands. Love your vids. Planning to do it on a small scale in my house. Awesome. Make sure you YouTube it or jump onto the Facebooks. Have a look below, and do that thing where you share it, and so everyone can learn. Even if you make mistakes, throw it up there so we can all learn how to do it better. Hopefully next week I have a new camera too, because I'm going to give my 920 camera to my son, and I'm going to get a new Logitech webcam, so hopefully it's even better than this one. My internet probably can't send out enough bandwidth to care, but I'm going to do that anyway. I've also got a gimbal. I've also ordered a gimbal, which is going to be very exciting and upgrade my iPhone to something a little bit more stable when I'm walking around. Greetings from Ramsgate, Southern England. Welcome, Sailboat RJ. Greets from Netherlands. I love your vids. I'm planning on doing small. Okay, I read that one. J Rock, we can see you. Excellent. Pete, you better increase the conductor size of your shed before you burn your house down. No. It's not the it's not the cables up to the shed. It's the breakers. The breakers physically get hot. And it's I don't know why. It's a 30 amp breaker, I think, at both ends. But I got a safety switch down in my breaker box, and then the shed is about 60 meters, maybe 60, 70 meters of cable up to my shed. But it's dual 10 millimeter cable from the breaker box all the way up here. So there's no voltage drop in the actual cables themselves. It's just the breakers. So, and the Sparky hasn't been around for a while, so about a year actually, and I haven't got him to look at that yet. Grow your hair out again, Pete? Nah. No, I will not be growing my hair out. Finally got the silly Tesla grin off your face. I just want to go and I want to put so many miles on that I run out of map. It is freaking awesome. Thank you, Mike. Those Sun 1000 watt grid tie inverters are illegal to use in California, just away. Pretty much all of the US. I think they're. Oh, I know the ones. I actually looked at one of them again, but Baker Daniel recommended this for me and fix the issue. Yes, Mike, that would be all well and good. Unfortunately, it's 240 volt, and I don't touch 240 volt, so I just watch it like a hawk. If I'm doing big loads and stuff, I just walk backwards and forwards with the thermal camera. I don't lay my hand on it. So I really should get an electrician around and check that out. But I don't have loads like that anymore, because since the price of Bitcoin and all that dropped, I don't have any rigs up here. It's probably been 6 months since I had a couple of rigs here. And to be honest, it's pretty useless putting a air conditioner in here when that is my shed wall. So it's just Colorbond steel. There's no insulation or anything like that, so it makes it pretty pointless actually doing that, I reckon. Bassa, I've pulled about 200 cells from a laptop batteries until now. After a month, the highest voltage was 4.12 volts. Is the no, dude? I say this a lot. It is not about the voltage. The voltage of a cell out of a laptop battery has nothing to do with its quality or its capacity. You have to test every cell. Voltage is not an indication of good or bad. It is simply a voltage. I can go to bed at night time and be extremely tired, but still be extremely handsome. That's a long enough pause. Hello from Melbourne, Florida, USA. Thank you for joining me. Riplash, only half listening, didn't realise you meant AC. Fernando, I see Tesla modules. Yes, they've got to go back. I've got to get them back. If you own the Tesla modules, they need to go back whenever you contact me. What is Batrium on the Tesla? Is that new Watchmon 5 expansion? No, the Batrium is... No, Batrium is currently on that battery because I just finished balancing it, or trying to get it as balanced as possible. So, because when I change it to 24 volt, I'm going to have to join up the top and the bottom, so I want it as balanced as possible. That's the Watchmon 7. So the Mini Mon, I haven't got any. I don't think I'll get any Mini Mons because I might do a video on it, but I haven't got the Mini Mons to just. It's basically that without all the smarts on it, so you can just keep linking up Tesla batteries one after the next, and have them extremely smart with all the Batrium goodness. I see Tesla modules. Didn't realize. You're going to need aircon there this week. Is the heat wave coming? Yeah, but it's only 36. But yeah, it'll be about 36 degrees here in Brisbane, Australia tomorrow. Weather app. I'm just checking my maths. 35. 35 tomorrow. Well, 37 today apparently. But that's not that hot. I mean, your balls stick to your leg, right? But it's not terrible. I remember one day about 2 or 3 years ago, I was driving around in my car, aircon not working, and the dashboard said 52 or 53 degrees. And that was whilst driving. That was a hot day. It was over 60 in here. We ended up having to close down and actually not work for about 3 days. It was so hot. How much we need for this project? I need a lot of money for the coffee project. Reread my last comment, Pete. You're going to need aircon in there this week after because a heat wave coming. Is that the last comment or is there a comment before that? I should turn off Facebooks. This is supposed to have subscriber notifications and donations and super chats and all that sort of stuff, and it doesn't work. I think... Oh, that's not to me. Hello from Colorado. Thank you very much, Nicholas, for joining us. Put your glasses on, for fuck's sake. They're terrible glasses. They're just real, like, they don't suit my face anymore. They used to suit my face, but now they're just really comfortable. And I've got like 4 pairs exactly the same. They're Arnett Swingers. And they're so scratched up, but you can't buy them anymore. But they're comfortable. Because I get headaches really easily from the wrong glasses. Hello from Collingwood, Ontario, Canada. What have we got? Wayne Bennett, good morning, Pete. We find free public holiday. It's friggin' great, mate. Have you dried everything out, buddy? And the super chat thing didn't work on the screen. Did the super chat thing work on the screen? Thank you very much, bud. I want to build 14 S80p. Must I use a BMS? You must if you want to be in part of the community. But if you can afford, honestly, if you can afford to build a battery that big, you're not mad not spending a little bit more money getting a BMS. At Balls, Peter Turner, hi Pete. Yes, that is the last comment. Well, it turns out I did read it again. Happy Sunday afternoon from Oregon. Fix it yourself. That's actually a really good name. Heat wave, Pete. It's not hot. Good morning, Pete from the UK. I'm going to miss the live chat. Got to work tomorrow. Enjoy. Thank you very much, John, for dropping in a comment. The Queen's birthday today. Yeah, right. We're in Australia, mate. Queen's birthday just in chat, not over the video. Wayne Bennett, NRL coach extraordinaire. Why do you keep propane tank under the batteries? Do I? Because that's the heater. It's actually empty. Work is back to normal. Nice bonus in my pocket too. Some headers on their way for my next pack build. Some holders. Awesome. Pete, you going out with a boom? One would hope. I just go out with some Coke and coffee. I didn't even realise that that gas bottle was still there. But that's my little gas heater. It's like an outdoor one, but I use it indoors because I need to be warm in winter. Because similarly, it gets hot in summer, but shit a brick, it gets cold in winter. No better way to go out, is there? With shrapnel lodged within your soul. New South Wales is Labor Day holiday, and in Queensland it's Queen's birthday public holiday. Patio heater. That's the word I was looking for. Cold there. Come to Canada. Again, never seen snow, but cold to me is like 5 degrees above 5 degrees C. That's cold to me. So it's probably not cold to other people. If you want to vote on my next video, even though technically speaking voting is closed, you can go there. If you like my live feeds, please give me a thumbs, whether it's down or up. It lets me know whether I should keep doing these in every Monday morning or I should stay in bed. Pico at the Boon. News of a public holiday. There must be the fire alarm. Look, I got the fire alarm. I still haven't got that working reliably. That stupid fire alarm. I have so many projects. And of course, I got another 3 kilowatt of panels. So, almost 3 kilowatt of panels. One panel's broken. So I was going to put another 8 up on the house up there. And then the other 8 up here. And if you can, and where I'm talking about is if you look through that, no, you can't see. Come on, white balance. No, you can't see. Through that door there, that's the shitty part of my shed. See, this is the stuff you don't see. PlayStations and Xboxes and crap everywhere. Everyone says, aren't you worried about getting broken into? And my favourite comment is, what are they going to do? Break in and steal all my broken shit? You'd be hard pressed to find something here that works, because I promise you, somebody gets something of value fixed, they pick that shit up quick. They need to get back to their Minecraft. What's the other one? Second Life? Oh, I'm so sick of hearing about that thing. If anybody in Brisbane, Australia has a used computer with a good like an i6, i7 processor that they want to sell, let me know, because my son needs one. It needs it better than his i2. No, sorry. Gen 2 i2. Gen 2 i3. Ignore me. Everybody else does. And that actually should be another shirt. And talking about shirts, there's a segue. Link below. There's a couple of new 18650 tees available. Proper 5 degrees good at sleeping. And if you use 18650, you get a 10% discount. On my affiliate store thing, what do you call it? Teespring, store below. Where can I find the must be where can I find the wall support you used, please? You can find that over on the forum, buddy. If you look in the link below, there is a forum link, secondlifestorage.com. I occasionally go to my own forum. And then if you go to DIY build batteries, DIY battery project builds, or simply use this link. If you scroll down the page, I give away all the details to build those mounts. I used to sell them, but I have only got about 10 or 12 left, and I don't know which way my projects are heading, so I'm going to keep them for myself because my guy that does all the folding and all that sort of stuff no longer does it anymore. 5 cents is short weather. What have we got to? I don't know where I'm up to. Wall Sports, when it drops below 25, we need a heater to turn on. Hello from Poland. 5 is short weather, 5 degrees is good sleeping weather. I agree. Doona and a good fan. Video from bed. That'd be awkward. Keep up your live feed as possible one time. I've got to get some. I know this sounds really weird and probably, but it's one of those things. You've got to talk about sex with your kids, right? With the live feeds and getting everybody to join, I've got to get a set of rules or something so it encourages people to jump on, but show their project or have something prepared almost. So the chat keeps moving forward and doesn't get stagnant. And also have a good internet connection and stuff like that. So I've got to work out a better way of vetting that sort of stuff. Maybe pre-prepare something earlier or something, I don't know. But that will keep when I do the multiple live feeds and stuff rolling along nicely, I think. I think it's just something we've got to do. I need this project for my fam. I need 5 degrees in Finland. Being apart, not in chat. I think where's your main inverter? Barra of the world. My main inverter is down beside my house, next to my meter box, and that is a 5,000 watt TL5000 from SMA inverter. Still looking into a Sunny Island to go along with that, another 5 kilowatt. Hopefully 48 volt, I think they are, so I can hook them into my batteries and hook my battery into that inverter. But I've got to find one cheap. So if anybody in the community is moving out of their house or whatever and has a Sunny Island 5 kilowatt, 240 volt, 48 volt, I think they're all 48 volt. I would be keen on buying that from you sometime soon, actually. Or any hybrid inverter with high voltage solar input, or even AC coupled. AC coupled is probably the way I'll go. That way I can just run a CT clamp down and move all the batteries inside my shed up here and build a special little enclosure for them. Later, Peter, 227027 here, been up since 5 a.m. UK time. I'm tired, like the Tesla vid. Thank you very much, Peter, for tuning in. Off-grid prepper, Intel slashed its CPU prices. Apparently might have a 5th generation i5 machine. I'll have a look. I hope it hasn't been wet. I've got everything else for it. I've got SSD, I've got M.2 if necessary. I've got an RX 580 from one of my old rigs. I just got to get a WD black hard drive. He's already got 2 screens, so that'd be awesome. Hi, Dad. Hi, son. Okay, Pete, you look like an idiot. Stop now. Look sharp. I'm at 144 and on dial-up. What do you mean dial-up? Is dial-up even still a thing? You should hit up Tech Yes Tube video channel. I think he's close to you. Not sure. I will have a look into that, J-Rock. Lee, 53k. Fix yourself. 53k. I have no idea what that's pertaining to. Tech Yes on the Gold Coast, so not too far away. What is Tech Yes? I'm going to do what I shouldn't do and Googles while I'm talking, because otherwise I forget. The YouTubes go to that. This is really slow. I really should have kicked my kids off. Did anybody see on my Facebook page the other day, I put a picture of how much I earn in a day? Someone said, when are you getting a Tesla? Actually, a lot of people said, when are you getting a Tesla? After I released that Tesla video. It turns out it's not going to be for a freaking long time. I just can't justify it. I'd rather a little ENV 200 or something. What are they? The Nissan vans? It hasn't got the range, but it has what I need, and that's just scooching around Forest Lake and doing jobs and stuff. Tech yes, TKYES. Is it TKYES or TCHYS? They all said they want to see you on camera.
Oh well, that dog must have got back in last night.
What?
Everything was moved and it was dug and it's all broken up.
Freaking dog. I got coffee. She got coffee.
Hey.
No.
Looking up.
Well, yeah. It's like dipping their head in and just walking away. That's not enough.
Yeah.
She walks away silently, not caring, not even looking back. There wasn't even a background track, like an epic song as she walked away. It was just cold and 30 degrees in Brisbane. Tech yes. Oh yeah, Tech yes City. Is it Tech yes City? Is it Tech yes City? Someone who needs to link it.
Today's
Wayne,
a very
you're
special
right.
day because I've never been offered something like this before, and it just seems so bizarre.
Tech yes. Tech yes City. About. PC invest videos. No, rang. Oh, there we go. I'll have a look. Random gear. Okay, I'll reach out to him later and see if I can go down there and see what we can work out. I could also just buy it myself and build it, but one gets to the time 10 minutes max or something. I wasn't even thinking 10 minutes. I was thinking 5 minutes. It's really a way of trying to push other people's channels and get them some airtime and some new subscribers. And even if half the people here just subscribe to his channel, it'd help the old brain matter. I mean, one of the big things with YouTube is getting over the dislikes and focusing on the positive stuff. So it's coffee time. Okay, coffee's still hot. Actually, that tastes really average. It's probably because I've been drinking Coke. You should really explain yourself a lot better. Tech yes sells computer parts as well as doing videos. He might be a good source for PC parts. But I've been dealing with my computer wholesaler for 20 years. I can get PC parts. It's just doing it cheaply. And I can't. I mean, my older son has got a decent gaming computer. He's got a high-end AMD gaming computer, but he's 15 with learning disabilities, so his computer is his life. The 7-year-old, he doesn't need a full-on gaming computer yet. Although we were thinking about it, but you know, maybe a year or two. Are you going to add more solar panels? Yes, I'm going to add a lot more solar panels. Oh, I thought it was 56k was the max speed of dial-up. Yeah, I'm going to add more solar panels, so I'm going to take it to 15 kilowatts of panels. The kicker is I've got to do it neatly. And I'd also like to redo all the panels on this roof because they've been chopped and changed so many times. The wiring is pretty dodgy. The zip ties are starting to break. So I've got to get up there and do a really big job of that. But unfortunately, that's simply just a really big job. And I don't, you know, I know a lot of people would like me to film that, but I don't know how to film it without showing neighbours' houses and, cars in the background and, you know, kids playing in the backyard and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know how I film that and make it look good. Thanks, Angel. Are you going to add more solar panels? Yes, 53. Can you confirm dial-up is still a thing? My sister lives in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and dial-up is her only option. Australian broadband is dial-up over fibre. Oh, that was beautifully said. That needs to be a T-shirt as well. NBN dial-up over fibre. Actually, I'm going to write that down because that's gold. Somebody would buy that T-shirt. What do we got? Why did you go with 48 volt system? I started with a 12 volt system and then moved to 24 and 48, and that's a big thing that I've gone over. That with the one thing I would do differently is go straight to 48 volt rather than messing around with 12 and 48. But I needed to go through that learning process, and I was doing that process a couple of years before I was on YouTube, not knowing what I was doing, buying gear that was clearly not legal to set up with the grid and all that sort of stuff. So 48 volt is a good mix between reducing heat losses and stuff within the inverter itself. It's more efficient. You need less copper and cables because you haven't got the high amps, and you voltage drop and things like that. There's lots of advantages, and lots of people have covered them on lots of different videos. But basically, it's efficiency. Of course, now I have two 48 volt inverters and two PCM60X charge controllers. Technically speaking, I have four PCM60X charge controllers because I've got two inverters with two 60 amp charge controllers in them, and it's effectively the same thing. So I can put a lot of solar on my off-grid. I just don't put too much solar through the pips just for heat. Where have we got? The wife could cold shoulder. She gave me the freezing cold shoulder. It was like it was in Canada or something. Coffee. Broken wife is looking much better now. Broken wife looks a lot better now than she did. Rocket. Yes, Tech is City. That's definitely him. Tech City Peter. That's him. That is confirmed. What type of monitoring units do you have on the wall? They are Batrium BMSs. So those green things there. Actually, that one isn't hooked up. That one is hooked up, and that one there is that wall there, and that one there is my 56 cell pack down in my battery shed running my house. If I put the Watchmon 7 on, which I can do, as long as it's turned on, Watchmon 7 has crashed. That's all right. That's not. I can't put the Watchmon 7 on because it's crashed. But that's fine because there's beta software on it. So I'll do my little report thing and send that down to Batrium so he can make it better. Coffee. He's got tons of random half decent stuff. All of my stuff is half decent. None of it's proper, but it's in the budget range that I can afford or want to afford, because it's also got to be reproducible by the community. And if I went with Victron or something like that, most of the community couldn't reproduce what I'm doing. I have a 3K Euro PC. That sounds like one hell of a PC. Neighbour's dog's running amok. Yes, the neighbour's dog's running amok. He breaks in. He literally he tears fence palings off the fence, and then digs holes and everything else just to get at my dog's dog food, because my dog isn't one of those gluttonous dogs that just eats all the food he can until it's all gone. We literally leave a bowl of food sort of that deep and that round with dry food in it. It's always got a full bowl of food. And we're finding more and more that this dog just breaks in at. He used to come, because obviously I work from home. The gate's always open. And he was coming in during the day and we're going, oh, nice dog, nice dog, nice dog. But now he's breaking in here at night time. So I'm going to have to probably catch him and send him to the pound or something. Drone shots directly from above. That's a great idea. I don't have a drone yet. I have been looking for a cheap drone that I can. I don't want it too cheap. I want it to last. But all the cheap drones that I found, there's been no parts or service or backup. What I tend to do with some of that stuff is I pretend like I've already bought something and send a support email or whatever, or parts, and say, I need a new set of blades. How much are they? And if they don't respond, that's it. You just don't use them. So that's my way of working out whether the company is just a fly-by-nighter or somebody that can actually provide me with something long-term. Corey is in the house. When did you get here, Corey? I just checked back and seen if you were anywhere else. It will be very... it will be very helpful if you... full schema when you talk about a subject. It will be very clear for all level. Yeah, unfortunately that takes time and effort. I don't have time and I can't be bothered putting the effort in, so it makes it very hard. And if you have a look in the link below, or if you have a look here, I do have a schematic. But the schematic is 2 years old, so it is there. It's just not there, if you know what I mean. Where I keep losing where I'm up to. 8k euros shortly from above at all levels. There we go. Caspar Christmas. I was thinking the same thing. Starlink might be here soon, Pete. Starman might come back. Starman crashes into the Empire State Building. When do you think of... What do you think of 120 volt VDC system? I want to be off grid. That would be awesome. But it would also change the legalities of what I'm doing. What I'm doing with the grandfathering law, which is I have to go off the laws that were applicable when I installed all my gear. All my stuff is fine. It might... you get all the electricians in the world that'll pull it apart, but every electrician underneath the sun will pull apart another electrician's job and, make it look like he needs to spend more money. But the fact of the matter is mine's been inspected twice by the correct authorities and nothing has been found. The fact that my gear is in 2 locked sheds, it removes an awful lot of problems because you simply can't get in there to cause a problem. But that said, if I change anything, if I go over 120 volts DC, it changes all the laws, and it's all that's considered high voltage, and I can no longer do it, and the community can't reproduce it. I'm not comfortable working with that. Solar panels, open circuit voltage of the solar panels on the roof is 111 volts. And I'm stupid careful with even that. Even though I don't think it could kill you, it'd change your day to a bad day. So, yeah. Would you suggest a cheaper BMS? Absolutely. I would recommend any BMS under the planet, as long as you treated it with the contempt it deserved. I.e., if you bought a $10 BMS, I would expect you treat it like a $10 BMS and check it every single day. Twice a day, 3 times a day. Make sure you check it and double check it and triple check it. It's better than having nothing there at all. So a cheap BMS is better than no BMS. I would always recommend you spend the most amount of money you can afford, or 20% of your total battery cost. I've seen people spend $5,000 on cells and setting it all up, and then spend $10 on a BMS. It makes no sense. You don't put a $100,000 motor in your car and then spend $40 on a new set of brake pads on the standard drum brakes. It doesn't make sense. So safety first, people, and there you go. There's my safety rant for the day. I'm doing both 24 and 48. 24 runs DC appliances, the back inverter feeding into the 48 volt inverter. And the back inverter feeding into the 48. I don't get the back inverter feeding into the 48 inverter. I'm just guessing that's the wording, but I get it. Mason Y seems to work great. It'll work, yeah, but personally I wouldn't to handle it much better. Chance of killing yourself on accident, absolutely. And I don't think 110 volt would kill you straight away, but it would knock you off balance and you'd fall off the roof and then you'd die, or fall backwards. So maybe there's two ways of looking at that. True, but we use 240 AC, depends on what you get used to. Yes. The DC is a lot more dangerous, though, especially above 48 volts from what I've read. I'm not willing to try that. When you are buying one of those Teslas, I will not be. Check my Facebook group, HB Powerwall on Facebook. I left a thing showing how much I earn in a day on the 1st of December. No, 1st of October. It was like $12 or something for a day on YouTube. Just put an electric fence on the line outside the fence. The dog will learn quick and not to come through the fence. Hi from Portugal. No, I'll just get my gurney and put it on a little tripwire and blast a gurney through the hole on the like the fine spray, not the jet. That teaches them quick. Do you closely monitor subscriber count the other way and the other analytics, or make it, or just take it as it comes? Baz of the World, I check like 20 times a day. I'm so terrible at looking at statistics, and of course they just changed the way of doing. They're rounding it rather than having it live, so I can't just check it all the time. Where is it? HB Powerwall. I used to have it on my phone, and every single time I picked up my phone, I looked at the subscribers. Because it was a way of going, are we, have we got, like, is YouTube hits? Because when YouTube hits, like it did the other day, it really, what do we got? Skip. Where are we? I don't actually know if I can change the source. Add a new source. Done. New scene, duplicate, remove filters, change the screen projector. I can't work out how to get the other screen. Full screen display. No, I've broken something. I have no idea what I've done. So I've forgotten what I was doing. I've completely forgotten. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Moving on. Contents, analytics. Yes, I read analytics constantly, and you really do watch analytics a lot. Like, I watch the subscribers, right? And then when you see, say, the last 30 days, can I show you this? I don't even know how to show my screen on this software, but you can. From the subscribers, you can usually see when it goes from like 8,000 views to 10,000 to 13,000. And when that jumps up to 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 views in a day, you can watch your subscribers go up just like a cash register, just go cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching over and over again. So I really like watching that sort of stuff. And I didn't realise it actually jumped that much until I looked at it, because that's just refreshed today. So 13,884 views in one day. My average is around 6,000, so a bit more than double on that particular day. But that's only because that self-discharging video had quite a few views. I think it had like 10,000 a day or something. It's up to about 30,000, which is kind of neat. Doesn't pay the bills though. Hi from Portugal. Hey Dylan C, welcome. Don't be lazy, Pete. I am always lazy. Doing a lot of work with my PC. Also, I play games and stream. Sometimes need a good PC. i7, 87, 32 gigs, DDR4, GTX 1080, a lot of storage, and custom water cooling. Oh, water cooling is the bane of my existence. I never will run a water-cooled computer ever, period. I've seen so many water coolers die. The bearings die in the water coolers. And just cook everything. It's not fun. They're not cost effective at all. Any luck with the hot water project yet? No. Hot water project. I was going to go out and do that today, but hot water project is a thorn in my side. Getting it reliable is the thing that I desperately need to do, and I don't know yet how to achieve that. One thought was I was just going to get a custom built 200 watt AC element and just simply run 200 watts to it. So that way the little 2400 watt inverter won't hurt just charging the battery up. I set it to 65 degrees. It should take probably 6 or 7 hours to go from cold water to hot if it was a full 50 litres with a 200 watt element. The inverter could do that fine in summer. In winter, we wouldn't have enough solar to actually charge the batteries up. So I think I could use the Batrium to interrupt the signal to the inverter, to the hot water system. So if the batteries were too flat, it would just turn off the hot water system, maybe when it got to 50% state of charge. I can misuse the car charging function to turn it off and on state of charge, I believe. So it's either that or just take a couple of solar panels out and just run it direct DC. The problem is still the DC element, the relay keeps fusing. I can't get a relay that works and just works, because obviously DC just keeps cracking on and it just doesn't work. So yeah. What else have we got? There isn't much of an advantage to go with the 120 volt DC bank inverter. The equipment is more expensive and the efficiencies aren't that much better than 48 DC. I don't know about the efficiencies, but certainly the price jumps when you go 120 volt. I know that for sure. I have been looking at the AC coupled inverters lately, trying to work out which way I'm going to go. Main advantage would be the smaller gauge wire and less voltage drop over distance. 24 volt inverter is the backup and the 48 is the inverter. Bloody typo. That's a good idea, having a backup, especially if you're completely off grid. Why don't you use the same system as Tesla 6S 47P? Because 6S doesn't naturally go into 24 volt. I would lose too much and the batteries would cycle far too heavy. If anything, I'd go 8P, and that would actually put the voltage range where the cells, they wouldn't work at all, top and bottom. So much less cycles, and they'll last longer than the Tesla batteries. What people don't realize about the Tesla batteries is, with 6S, they put you in a really bad position to not be able to use the battery properly. You have to get a very specialized inverter often to use the entire battery voltage or the entire range of the batteries. It's much narrower than 7S or 7P, or whichever one comes first. Got to add screen capture or application capture? Yeah, just use OBS. If you had to pick another BMS other than Batrium, what would you choose? I get asked that question a lot. I don't know what I'd choose. I'd probably still be in the camp of saying I don't need one. If you go back and look at all my old videos, it clearly shows that I didn't use a BMS for years. I don't know how long it was, but it was a considerable period of time, right? And I went down to my battery shed 3, maybe 4 times a day, maybe more, maybe sometimes less, with a multimeter and checked every single cell with a multimeter. And it was just stupid. It was so much time because I was so paranoid about it. And I've said this before, I would have stopped this whole project. I would have deleted the Facebook group. I wouldn't have done the forum, and YouTube probably would have been, 10 cents a day if it wasn't for Patreon. Patreon gives me a sense of trust, I guess. Confidence. Confidence would be the right word. That I haven't gotten with anything else. And I've got a lot of... I should pull out my pile of BMSs. I've used a lot of older BMSs, the 7S and the 8Ss and stuff like that. And they just all blew up on me. It could have been some of my fault. Probably a handful of them were my fault. But they just short out, blow out, do whatever. They just didn't work. The cheaper BMSs are false economy once you get to these bigger packs. Right? And even those 1S battery balances that move energy around, after looking at if you have a look at my last video, the last big one, the 17-minute video, that's the one that I lost all the data on. I had to spend a week doing data recovery on my own shit to get it back. Those 1S balances, they just move energy around, and I wouldn't have seen, without the Batrim or without manually looking, I wouldn't have seen that one cell kept dropping. I could see it sort of come back up, and I could see it drop back down again. It was just up and down, up and down. But it was trending down. It constantly dropped down. But I thought it was bad for months. So the Batrim kept that cell alive. But had it been one of those 1S units, it would have just transferred power, and you wouldn't have known that we had a heated cell in there, right? I use my thermal camera on my battery about once a month. First of every month, I clean my solar panels. Well, at least I try to. And then I do my thermal reading on all my cells and connectors and stuff. You wouldn't see that. And with a cheap BMS, you wouldn't see anything with that either. So, and worse still, one of those little 1S BMSs, right? One of them, not 14 for a pack, one, in one 24-hour period, uses more energy from the battery than the entire Batarium, which is the unit here, the shunt, and 14 Longmons, idle, does in 7 days, right? Now times that by 14. So in 3 hours or something, it uses more uses more energy than that does in 24-hour period. That's mad. That's an insane amount of wasted energy. Also, those little LEDs, the little LEDs with the readout on it, great idea. Absolutely freaking brilliant idea to have on each cell if you don't have a BMS. And it's not Batrim, it's anyone, but I've never used anything else, so I have to be open and honest. I've never used anything else. Those little LEDs, what people don't realize is one of those lines, when you've got a 0, it's got a line across the top, a line, a line, a line. So it's got like 8 lines. But when you've got 1.08 or something, or 4, or say maybe 4.88, that little LED display uses more energy than the one beside it that says 4.11 volts. So those little LEDs actually unbalance your batteries. But I think that's easily offset by the fact you can visually see each one if you've calibrated each one, because none of them are the same. So there's my rant on BMSs. I've never used anything else successfully other than Batarium products. I am in a lucky position where I don't get free stuff per se, but I do get test equipment. So we can run certain scenarios. I have a big battery that I use daily, so it's very good for testing. I hope that kind of answers that question. Would I try any other BMS? Yes, I would. I would happily accept any other product that was sent to me and fully funded both my time, energy, and editing time to pull all the bait trim out and replace it with their system, or run them in parallel. But it have to be fully funded, because I'm not pulling out a perfectly running BMS for a video. And I'll be very, very open and honest, that was fully funded. Fully funded, I think, is where most YouTubers go later on in their YouTube careers, I think. Good evening from Russell. Oh, from Russia. I thought it was Russell. It's about time to see if the battery heaters still work here. Do you have any experience with power walls in cold climates? No, I live in Australia. I don't have that problem. Well, actually, a northern sort of Australia, sort of mid to high, I guess. Brisbane, Australia. So I don't have any problems with cold temperatures. Shaky cam was like playing VR. J-Rock, that is not to me. Why don't you use AC water heater with inverter like I did? Enough messing around, time, money wasted. It's not so much time and money wasted as is learning stuff, understanding stuff. I haven't had a lot to do with relays and things like that, so I'm enjoying that learning curve. I've only been through 3 relays and a bunch of other gear, and I've probably only spent maybe $100. And to be honest, those 3 videos that I did a few weeks ago with all the hot water stuff, they paid for, those videos alone paid for anything that I've done. So it's not exactly costing me money, but I'm not profiting. So I'm happy with that. And maybe eventually I can get something together that really works well long term. And I'm not interested in one video. I'm not interested just going, oh, this works, look, here's my affiliate link. I want to have something that actually works as well. And that's an important thing to me moving forward. What if you wire 2 or 3 relays in series, more braking capacity? I guess then one breaks, and then the second one breaks, and the third one breaks, and it might last longer, but it's still not reliable. It has to be reliable. Message retracted. Mike, in the theory it should work. Doing so works for me. Push 120 amps through 200 amp relays. Is that DC or AC though? And is it switching on and off twice and 3 or 4 times a day? Andy Co YouTube channel, April 16th 2018 video did something with auto switch. Might be something you'd look for, Pete. I'll have a look. I'll post a link, but I can't. That is because, here, wait a minute. Mike, can you make him an admin? Oh no, I don't think you can. J-Rock, you can now post links. Disconnect or snap thermostat may work for you. I just hate how it's $900 CDN for a BMS and it's hard. Yeah, look, and is it still 900 with the price drop? You should be in Australia and have to buy shit. DIY BMS is another one to look at. Absolutely, that's had some success within the market. However, they are DIY and constantly evolving. If you had to redo it all over, would you just buy a Powerwall 2 rather than spend so much time and effort on these cells? Maximum Delude. No, I wouldn't. One, when I started this project, there's no way in hell I had enough money to buy a Powerwall 2. In Australia, it's like $15,000. And it's only, what, 12 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt? So I wouldn't be doing that. I don't think I'd ever do that because I just couldn't afford it. The return on investment on that would be freaking horrendous. It'd be plus 10 years. In 18 months. So YouTube income, savings in electricity, affiliates, donations, all that sort of stuff with YouTube. In like 18 months, I'd paid back and was cash positive on the YouTube. So it was about $12,000, I think, back then. About $12,000 or $13,000 I spent. Today, I think this box of invoices, which I have been going through, is quite substantial, but has every single cent I have ever spent on YouTube, all the way back to the first one in there. The first invoice, where were we? And do I have my address on here? I do not. The first one in here is the 23rd of May, and it's for 35mm copper lugs, 8mm hole, and I paid $36 for it. That's back in 2016. So I've got every single receipt, and I have to go through that and actually add them all up and work out exactly what I've spent. You know, it's down to master's receipts for, what's that for? Aviation snippy cutting tools, switchboard, what else? That's trade tools, I can hardly read that. A soldering iron. What else we got? That looks like a sex toy of some description. I'm not sure what's going on there. Bunning. Fuse wire. That's an interesting one. 2016. 2016. A whole heap of fuse wire. And I can actually walk over here, open this up, and say that this is another thing that I tried, which was, and I still have it because it didn't work. Fuse wire. Fuse wire. So I tried many different things in the early days, and I still have all those receipts in that box. There's some useless information for you. Let's put all that stuff away. Actually, we'll just throw it on the bench and complain later that we can't find it. So, there we go. That answers that question. Would I do it again? No, I wouldn't do the Tesla. I wouldn't go the Tesla route. However, you think you do, and I've lost it. I've lost it again. I have no idea where I'm up to. Oh, there we go. Maxim, I hope that answers that question. What do we got? This seems like upscaled. Yes, it is. I've made it bigger. I can put it back down if you like. But for some reason, it doesn't use the whole screen. I don't know. There we go. Quality, it seems like it's upscaled. Hi from Belgium. It's midnight here. Just had a small heart attack since I saw the title and thought I missed work. Finland, welcome. What is your opinion on smart active balancing on a BMS system? I think I just comprehensively covered that. Hi, I'm not only looking one here from Finland. For DC, you can use simple circuit, including a MOSFET to switch on or off resistors and a water tank. Using MOSFET handles 57 amp at 200 volts max. Yeah, but can you do it 1,000 times? I loved your response to Tesla. Oh, my video. I love that video. There is so much of that video that I had to chop out because, one, it was stupid to put on camera, or two, I was just having way too much fun, and there was a lot chopped out of that video. There was 2 hours worth of footage cut down to like 20 minutes. And I think the first version was like 27 minutes or something like that. In series, you'd wire them in parallel as they'd share the amp load. Thank you, J-Rock. However, I'm thinking of using contactors would be better. They're designed to handle the high. I got a contactor. I don't know where I put it. And then Jaron said it was a pre-charge unit. It wasn't a contactor. I have no idea where it is. I'll put a link down below if I remember later. But I did buy a contactor, but that's one thing I have to work out as well. It's DC 24 volt using 200 amp SSRs, and it's not constantly switching. Use the whole pack disconnect even if it's a major issue. Used to play over 400 amp hours on record. There is another plays. Confused. I don't know what you're talking about. Mike, I'm thinking of it series because I know it's how the shunt trips like AVA can break high voltages. The poles get wired in series. You have 2 or 3 switches on one flip. They dropped Linux support, so stopped playing. What are we up to? DIY Adam World update shit. Just dropped. I have to go and watch that. I watch Adam every single time. Just check your profile and see Armour almost have 10k on that. Adam Welch just on a new vid mentioned the 4K version of the iOS. This could be snapping up the B. That's a lot. Mostly paid, and then the custom mission and the UK boys. Okay, that's a side conversation, I think. Masters, long forgotten company now. I love Masters. Their electrical section was way better than Bunnings. It's not the answer to kill the relays, not the volts. Only the volts creates arc. Does the burning. Answer that's been good point. With SSRs, the current is what burns out the effects. You never add up all your receipts for your hobby and it's unwritten. But this is just as I have to add up all my receipts eventually, because I had to work out whether or not my YouTube channel was a business or a hobby, and I had to make that distinguishment. And that is what I'm currently going through, trying to work out whether I've got to pay taxes on my YouTube, or all of my invoices and stuff like that will actually cause, because I don't run my business is I'm a sole trader, so any money that I earn goes into one pot and I pay taxes on that. So with the YouTube thing, if it's a hobby and I can reasonably expect not to profit from it, I don't have to pay tax on it. And it could also mean that I pay less tax. So I could add up all my invoices and stuff like that, find out that I actually spend, with all the other stuff, more money on my YouTube channel than I earn. I could actually get taxes back, technically speaking. But of course, that means I have to do a metric shit ton of extra paperwork. So instead of getting taxes back, I think I just wouldn't do the paperwork. And then, come under the guise of it being a hobby rather than a business. Handle the volt amps just fine. I love your videos, watching them for some time now. Just curious, what's your educational background? I have no educational background. I failed absolutely every subject at high school. I failed everything. The only things I passed was, ironically, cooking and sewing class, because I like using my hands, and there was no real teaching involved, and woodwork. They're the ones I passed. Everything else I got Fs. In fact, I walked into the classroom. I never got a detention, never really got in trouble. I just walked in and got my pen and put my pen and my ruler and my book here, and then I went to sleep. I did nothing. Absolutely nothing at school. So I have no education whatsoever. Even computers, I went from working in a kebab shop, making kebabs for 7 or 8 years. Decided that I wanted to build a computer of some description, and then drove past Harvey Norman. Harvey Norman had computers on sale. It was $3,000. I put it on this 26% credit card that they gave me at the time. That $5,000 computer ended up costing something around $3,000 computer ended up costing $5,000. And the piece of shit was in the repair department for like 6 months. I told them that I would fix it myself and I would put their repair department out of business. The next day I got a job working in a computer shop. I worked for 6 months, I think I worked for 3 months for free, because I had no idea what I was doing. Worked for 3 months for free. After 12 months I was head technician, and went up from there. Yep, no problem. 1,000 times. How many cells do you have on the left of the screen behind you? There is 1,120, and that one there, where is it? That one is 80 cells, 80 cells, 80 cells, and 156 cells. I can't math that up. We are waiting for you to do for a dual Tesla, but ability to charge off-grid is a real issue. We are waiting for our dual Tesla. You just charge slower, dude. You can still do it. You just got to charge slower and have an inverter that can handle the accumulated heat over time. That's the thing about me charging at 2,000 watts. I had 2 inverters that were only working at 25% capacity between them. So there was no heat accumulation. Well, certainly not apparent anyway for the 2 hours that I was using it. A 10-hour or 20-hour charge might be different. And I'd hurt my battery. I would hurt my batteries doing that. I'd have to charge, like I'd have to have full batteries sort of in the morning, sort of like that pack is there, except you can't really see. A full pack in the morning, and then a full pack, like have good sun all day, and then overnight, and then the next day it'd have to be a good sunny day. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to flat full a Tesla in 24 hours. What a side conversation. For 10 300 watt solar panels, must I go for a 3 kilowatt or 5 kilowatt inverter? It depends on what your inverter's rated at, and the voltage and your input voltages and all that sort of stuff, dude. That is maths. I am not very good. I'm not a solar designer at all. You do now have an educational background. No, I don't. No, I don't have an educational background. I am simply sharing my my journey, what I have learnt, all my mistakes and all that sort of stuff. So, hey, I am watching your show. Thank you very much, Pierre. Pete's educational background is in the background of his video. La-di-da. Thanks, cool. Thanks for your reply. No worries. You are correct, Corey. Hands on education is the best education. At least I think that I've learned just by doing it. And that's repeated for what I did in school. If someone showed me, I just did it. I guess it'd be different if I had have started doing computers like 10 years earlier. 5 years earlier. Whatever computers were around. I started in early 97. And then I went out self-employed about 2 years later, and have been ever since. I was doing the changeover for customers, going from Windows 98, Windows 95 with USB support to Windows 98, and then the SE come along, and it was like, yeah. Yeah, and I don't think, because I was sort of there at the beginning of the internet, so to speak. So there was a lot of information out there that I could just Google. I don't think I would have been able to learn as much if it wasn't for Google. Google has been critical into my YouTube, and even fixing computers and PlayStations and Xboxes and HDMI ports and stuff like that. I do so many HDMI ports now. That's my bag of HDMI ports. That's all I got left out of 100 that I had a few weeks ago. So there's probably only 30 or so HDMI ports left. And they're you do so many of them. I'm starting to keep them. I started to keep them last week. You can't even see. Come on, focus, you fuck. Nah, you can't see. But I do lots of HDMI ports on the Xboxes and PS4s. And they're really hard because you've got to do underneath the microscope because they're so freaking small. And I wouldn't be able to do that without YouTube's. I love practical educational learning. Yes, absolutely. Side conversation, ignore. Good afternoon from South Carolina. Darren, welcome to the channel. AOL on a 3.5-inch floppy. Absolutely. Have you horse avatar image on stream? I have no idea why I have a horse avatar on stream. Yes, J-Rock, would love to stick around longer, but got to rock with the kids. Drop with the kids' ex-wife. Thanks for the live feed. Thanks for tuning in, Jay. Remove you as moderator just so I don't forget later. From starting in 97, are you still able to keep up with the new things coming up now? Yeah, the new things is easy. It's when I get a Windows 98 computer now, and I have 2 customers with Windows 98 computers still. The learning curve, the remembering curve sucks. Keeping up with the new stuff is easy. Every morning, the first thing I do is jump on, have a look at a handful of websites, have a look at the new viruses that have been released. That is more indicative of like 5 years ago when there was lots of viruses. Every single day there was new viruses. But I still have a look at that sort of stuff and work that sort of stuff out and have a look at cause and effect and symptoms and stuff with certain viruses. So I do that practically every morning before I do anything. And my dog's hungry because the other dog ate all the food. Sook, come here. Come. It doesn't help that my dog's deaf. Oi, stop. She'll stand there and just bark and bark and bark until I feed her. So we've got heaps of people in the room. If you like what I do, please give us a thumbs up and consider buying a shirt. This is my Battery Hasher shirt. Only 2 shirts that actually even fit me left because I've got man boobs now. I have ordered a whole heap of shirts and stuff for myself, so hopefully I'll be doing a video of them soon. And if you like the live feeds, give us one of these. You know, let me know what you think. And if you're new to the channel, whack a comment in there. Let me know where you're from, what you're doing. Hype Micro, you need to fix a few Androidos. Micro USB isn't so bad because there's not as many pins as the HDMI ports. Micro USB breaks down way too easy. I do lots of lots of micro USB repairs, lots of on Samsung devices. But it doesn't matter how good you get at soldering, and I am not good at soldering. I'm still learning. You learn something new every day. And let's face it, I have a Banggood $500 microscope and a Banggood rework station and a Rhino Tools solder sucker. I'm using the cheapest tools that I can afford until I learn enough to be able to spend more. The next rework station I want is $1,700. And I really want that rework station because it's a Hacko. But I just can't justify it with the jobs that I'm putting through at the moment. Well, actually, I can justify it at the moment, but that works really well. And I can do a HDMI port on a PlayStation 4 if everything goes right. And doesn't look like this shit mess. This is one I had the other day. And tracks are off the board. And can you see that? You can't really see, but just there's tracks missing off the board, and you can see them peeled up. And it's not worth fixing because I obviously I'm working on an hourly rate. Well, not so much an hourly rate. I'm working on a fixed hourly rate, not an hourly rate. So if I can't get it done in an hour, I don't want to do it. And it's not worth it, and the customer doesn't want to pay more. So that's one that'll just be parts board. But I get it done from complete disassembly. And I always take out the 3 screws that hold in the radiator for the fan. So I take all that out, clean it all out. So I clean all the dust, all air galleries, fix the HDMI port, test and reassemble in about 23 minutes, which is really fast. And if I can keep doing them at 23 minutes, I'll be dropping my price shortly to about $80 per job. But I've got to be able to do it consistently because there's still some that take an hour and a half. Just because you need to do filters and ICs and stuff. So I've got to balance that out. I hate micro USB, microchip baked in, tut, it's a dog. If you take out a 3 kilowatt inverter setup will max out at 3 kilowatt. If your solar panels produce a little more than produce a cap at 3 kilowatts, but your 5 you'll never be back flat on the top. Hailing from Trinidad, welcome Anton. I still want one of the 18650. Below, please, below. And if you use 18650 as a discount code, you get 10% off. The old shirts, the 18650T and range, I have $15 profit on. Only because I didn't realize it's $15 profit, and they just released a thing where you can change the amount you want to earn from them. The new 18650Ts, I think they're down towards the bottom. They have after the discount, there's $3 profit. So I'm making a lot less, but making it a lot cheaper for everybody in the world, I guess you would say. Speaking of Banggood, I got more snippies with your links. Awesome, thank you very much, Aaron. I do appreciate it. If you want one of t-shirts, use the following link. Thank you very much, Wayne. Anyway, sleep now. If you send an invite to stream, I'll accept it. Thank you very much, Cone. Aaron E, just get a quick 861 DWP, better than the Hacko and not $1,700. Well, that is a good piece of information. Copy. V8D. Oh, $400. ebay.com. I like. I'll do some research. 1000-watt digital workstation. What temperature does it go up to? Temperature. Read full description. Hot air station. I need something that goes to about 800 degrees. And it has to be an accurate 800 degrees because this one only goes to 500. And it takes a little bit longer. And it doesn't actually say. It still looks like a cheap unit. But I guess it might be better than what I got. Aaron, thank you very much. I'll have a look at that later. I'll put that into my favorites somehow. That's how you do it. Done. Rightio. Does anybody actually know how long I've been on this live feed for? Oh, there we go. Hour and 30 minutes. I worked it out. Have a good night. My country's some installers undersized inverter to get more electricity in the morning and evening and less. You can also use it can withstand 70 amps, 300 DC max. The MOSFET is used in some plasma TV screens for switching DC at very high speed. There we go. I'm gonna have to. I've got this copy. No, Control V is copy, Pete. Right, I'm getting a list of things I have to look at. Yeah, Quick 8.1, awesome machine for the price. Done. HDMI ports on large QFIN with thermal pads, no problem. Awesome. The thermal properties of the PlayStation 4 motherboards too are a problem getting the heat into it. You almost always burn the side of the board. Well, with that I do because it takes longer to get the heat in there. Hopefully with a better one, I can do an even better job and do it even faster again. Hey from TX USA, John here. Always enjoy your lab and setup. Looks at Patreon myself or client. Awesome. At HB, Lewis Rosman uses and sells them their quality. Oh, didn't Lewis always recommend the Hacko? I haven't looked at that lately. In that case, I will grab one this week. Actually, what I'll do is I'll grab one and I'll do a video because I've got the camera on me. What do you call it? Where is it? There we go. There, the microscope is there above my fingertip. I've got the little red thing on top, so I've got the HDMI camera on top. It does suck. It's not very good, but it might be enough to do a video on that and see what it's like, or compare the two. Use on Tesla model, create burn up a couple already worked out using. Use on Tesla modules, customer burnt up a couple already without using a BMS. Ouch. Baytrim, spell check. He did until he sells them. Yeah, you can't make money on that, I guess. And Lewis isn't like everybody else. He sells stuff and has to make money with 15 staff now. How do you get started building a DIY Powerwall? First of all, you look around and see if you've got an acceptable source and a constant source of renewable cells, or second life storage, as we call it, and start from there. If you can't get cells, you pipped at the post. I guess you can always get new cells, but of course that depends on your geographical location and financial situation. I post a comparison video link on the above, but you'll only see the one who see it since I'm not a mod. No, I can't see any links, Aaron. Give me a second. Post a link, my friend. Add moderator. There you go. Now you can post the link. Where we got? We're catching up. I so want to actually go and research that other hot air station now. I got to be able to get it from in Australia, or get it in Australia. I like the 18650T with the green ED on it. Analytics. Let's see if any shirts have sold today. No shirts have sold today. I've sold 4 shirts in the last month. All 4 of them to me. Uses Aaron E. There we go. Oh, that's so stupid. How does that even work? In Streamlabs OBS, as soon as I click the link, it opens it up in the sidebar. That's stupid. I'll have a look at that later, mate. The quick angle goes to 500 degrees C, and it is accurate. The only drawback is that it uses track for control and causes the lights to flicker. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. I wonder if I can open that in a new tab. No, I'll work it out. I'll have a look later. That's fine. Is your shed above the 1 in 100-year flood level? Oh yeah, it's like a kilometre above. It's ages above. It's never going to get flooded. Bloody Noah would have to pull the bathtub plug out up there in the sky, and it still wouldn't flood. The problem is with my house, right behind this wall here, there's my property fence, and then behind that you've got the property fence and the shed, and then behind the property fence it goes up, and then you've got the walkway behind my house so you can see straight over my back fence. But worse still, then you've got the road, and the road up there is about 1.5 meters higher, and there's so much, the quantity of water comes down the road, and there's like a drain sort of in that, if you look at that corner of the shed, sort of straight up on the road, the drain gets backed up, and a truck comes along and washes all the water over the gutter, and it just floods down here and it floods my shed. So one truck drives past and I spend 12 hours cleaning my shed. It hasn't happened for 2 years because I've dug a massive trench along the back of the shed. It actually needs redoing now, but it hasn't rained for months, so I don't think that's a real problem. So yeah, I don't get flooded. Not so much. Just look at T12 soldering stations. The things are incredible. Heating of the tips is like 80 watts. The non-originals cost 25 to 70. Awesome, I'll have a look at that. Hello, David Rodriguez. Thank you very much for joining the chat. I've caught up with the chat, which is an awesome feat. If anybody is here and would like to drop a comment in, that is always appreciated. CNS, all trades, bathrooms and renovations. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the chat. I am going to have a flick around on the YouTubes and have a look at my statistics, because I like looking at statistics. What I'll do is the next time I'll have to catch up on videos first before we do anything. We haven't had much rain for 2 years. No, we have not. It's pretty dry out there. I'm doing a retaining wall and stuff in my backyard, and I tell you what, digging the trenches and stuff for that is hell. Not digging the trenches, sorry, digging the holes for the sleepers to go on the ground. Jeff, this is a comment from me. I read it, you won, you played me hard. It'd pretty much be no rain for 2 years, I reckon. That's not... We've had showers here and there, but it's dead. I mean, if you look at my the last video I did with the replacing the hot cells, and if you have a look at the very last 5 minutes of the video, it's dry. It is really, really dry out there, so not much fun at all. Tim, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you later. Not really, Aaron. It's been very scarce. Use a jackhammer with a spade bit. I don't have a bloody jackhammer. I use an old school crowbar and a broken shovel. Got to do this shit cheap. Microinverters on battery voltage, are they good? I would love to know that, off-grid wannabe, because I want to get a 200-watt microinverter and put it on that battery. Somebody gave me one, and I tried hooking it up, and it went up in smoke, and I'm really disappointed because I was looking forward to that happening. But I believe they do work. Lots of people have said they work really well. I also gave you a thumbs up. Thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate it. Live streaming. I have 510 views in the last 60 minutes, and probably a lot of them are you guys, so thank you very much. Are there any fun idiots dry? Not really, it's just dry. Lots and lots of farmers are going broke and losing everything because it's so dry. It's not so much fun as it is horrifying. And then our old Australian government gives America $150 million for the space program, but our farmers are out there going shooting themselves because they can't feed their cattle. And the banks are foreclosing them because they've got no money left, so it's not that much fun. Stream health. Stream health is check video settings. I'm having a look at my statistics and stuff, trying to work out viewer activity. I get sidetracked. I shouldn't look at this stuff. Oh, there we go. Hour and 40 minutes. I was trying to work out how long I was on. Works for me to dig in holes. I bet you it does. Are there any fun Aussies? There are, but not G-rated. That sucks. It's Shannon Crossing. We have messaged previously. This is my business YouTube. Welcome, Shannon. I won't pretend to remember who you were. I think I counted them. Somebody complained that I hadn't responded to a message the other day, and I counted them. And in a week, I had over 200 private YouTube messages. So it's pretty hard to keep up with the messages sometimes. I usually just ignore the ones that haven't had any thought or effort put into them. And then anything that has put any thought or effort into it, I try and respond with that much effort, so to speak. If someone just says hi, I might say hi back, and that's about it. But I try to reply to everyone. That's not true. I don't reply to everyone, but I do try. For strawberry farmers that are rough last few years, you can use AC water heater element to work well with DC current. You just have to pick the right resistor for the voltage that you're using. And that's the stuff I don't understand. I'd like to understand that more, but I don't have the time to sit down and muck around with it. All farmers in Australia are seriously struggling or gone bust. Absolutely. I grew up in a farming area, so I understand that. I grew up in in Mount Tarampa, right across the road from the racetrack from World War II, and actually across the road from an old World War II aeroplane strip. Technically, that was down the road, but it's horrendously dry out there at the moment. We have a spring-fed dam out there. When Mum and Dad owned a property out there when I was a kid. And in 20 years, 30 years, I've never seen that spring dam dry until now. So that must be pretty bad. And it is a huge catchment area for this dam. And it's just dead. Are you an early riser? I'm up at the Sparrows most days. I am up very early, but it's usually lying in bed catching up with YouTube. Usually I'm up at sort of 3, 4 a.m. every morning. And I use that time to catch up on a whole heap of YouTube channels, reply to YouTube comments and Facebook messages and stuff like that, usually early in the morning. YouTube never noticed me about this live stream. Lucky I saw it on the homepage. Thank you very much for taking the time to look. Aussie Off-Grid Prepper Show. Pete, we put $7 trillion in the black and the buses are still raging us. Have you seen tech ingredients videos on DIY air conditioning? Most of the energy used is solar. Very little electricity. I like that sort of idea. Unfortunately, I also like the ability to be able to plug something in and turn it on and it works. And to be honest, my whole house, before we bought it, had 7 new air conditioners fitted. 5 new air conditioners fitted. And they're still running like 8 years later. So I think they're 9 years old. If I ever have to change, I'll look at DC, but DC air conditioners aren't as reliable. I've seen shipping containers full of broken DC air conditioners. I got offered a bunch for free and I said no. Safety topic. How far do you think batteries should be placed away from a house to be safe? As far away as you can afford, I guess you'd say. I would love to put mine a couple of meters away. It depends on how they're housed and stuff as well. Like, I've got one of my smaller batteries underneath the eaves of the house, and I don't think that's acceptable, if I should be honest. And I'd really like to change that. But as long as they are further enough away from the house, if they went thermal and one exploded, it wouldn't land on the house and catch it on fire. Excuse me for choking, I'm sorry. Far enough away from the house to not cause a problem. But on the same token, you've got to have it close enough to not have any substantial losses, I guess you'd say. So I guess it depends. And it's also geographical, financial, economic. Like, some people can't afford to put it far away. They've got to have it on their lounge room floor, right beside their bed and underneath their kitchen sink. And other people can afford to build, dedicated bunkers. So I guess it's all depending on. There's a lot of factors there. Personally, I'd like to have mine further away or up in here. I'd actually build a shed inside of my shed here to house it, and I'd have it all air conditioned and really well insulated. Okay, how about this? Since you're a Bitcoin miner, the new GPU from Tesla is going into the Model S or Model 3. Would you be able to hack it and use it for your mining? Supposed to be super faster than NVIDIA. I guess you probably could. Would I bother? No, I can't afford a Tesla, let alone afford to break it doing mining. And I guess the problem is with mining is usually when they break, you can't turn it back on again. And Tesla would probably have some way of working it out that you were doing it, right? They'd probably notice the traffic and immediately put a block on it. Mike N, 1 meter past how far an 1850 bottle rocket can go. That's a good way of summing it up. Stick to AC aircon. Keep it simple. AC coupled inverters just make things easy. Absolutely. And they're pretty bloody efficient these days too, especially the new ones. There is a made DC powered aircons as well. A little more expensive, about 15% or so. I looked at a few the other day, although they won't fit my needs. No, I would have one, but I'd like for 800. I think $800 or something. You can buy an AC one. I would love to put one of them in my hallway of my house, just to pump air through cooler air through my house. Not to keep it cold, just to, I guess, moderate the temperature within in my house. My roof and ceiling is all very well insulated, but my walls are not. There is a DC powered aircon as well. Oh, there we go. Who can afford a Tesla nowadays in Oz? 80 grand. Yes, it's crazy money. Crazy money. I wish I could afford it. Who does he got? 846. I might actually call this one for today. If anybody else has got any questions or something they'd like to quickly pop in, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I might disappear and go and spend some of this wonderful day off with my wife and children. Or work out how to get this membership and donation and super chat thing happening. I don't actually know how to do that with this. Cloud backup, all media sources are backed up to the cloud. The notification window. Oh wow, that actually shows you usage. 0 frames dropped. 30 frames per second. This is the quality of the said frames. Crash Teslas, lots of parts, but even the price in Australia for wrecked ones is fairly substantial. Anyway, on that note, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate your time and effort to sit here and have a chat to me. If you are still here, please smash that like button. It really does help the channel. And if you'd like to buy a t-shirt, there is links below. And if you'd like my forum link to my projects, link below, and the Facebook's group. So thank you very much, and I will see you on the next one.